Welcome to Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. I am your host, Branden Hudson, and today I got a very special episode for you guys. There's going to be a lot of golden nuggets and a lot of takeaways that I think that our listeners are going to hear, and it's going to be pretty cool, man. This episode of Champ Talk with Branden Hudson is brought to you by SBY MMA and Fitness. Contact us, join SBY MMA and Fitness today before 2025, man, so you can take control of your life and do all the goodness and things that you want, and make sure you mention that you heard it on Champ Talk, okay? Obviously, we're connected businesses, but it's always cool to find out where our listeners and our people come from. Also, if you got value out of this post, this podcast, if you know what I mean, you know somebody else that would, you know, give us a subscribe, like, share it, you know what I mean, send it to somebody who would get value from this. We want to make sure that we can reach as many people and change as many lives as possible. And also, if you can give a review on Apple Podcasts, man, that really helps us out a lot. It gets us back to the top of the search engines, and ultimately, gets Champ Talk recognized. So, but without further ado, I have a very special guest on here today, man. It's you guys have seen him all over Facebook, as far as, you know, here locally with our gym. I have so many great things that people say to me about this guy, you know what I mean, when I'm outside and going through regular life. Just had somebody this past weekend bring him up. You know what I mean? It's my honor and pleasure, guys, to introduce my very best friend, you know what I mean, for fucking 35 years, man. Owien Rittenhouse, man. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, too
How
much.
you doing?
So Owen's a little nervous, okay, because he's never done a podcast. And as we get going down in our story and our show, you'll probably know why. And it's pretty cool that he's definitely got a great story and something to share, man. And I think it's worth telling, man. I'm very captivated by it, and so all the introductions and stuff's out. So Owien, we've been friends since fourth grade.
Fourth grade,
right? We're 44 years old. I'll be 44 in April. You just turned 44. Happy belated birthday. And we've had a lot of time in the box, man, as friends. Seen a lot of things together that we've both endured, went through, and helped each other through, and stuff like that. And what made me want to have you on here, and what made me want to really do it today, was as you guys are watching this or listening to this, the date that we're recording is December 16th, I believe. Yep. Monday, December 16th. Yesterday, December 15th, marked 1 full year that you've been home from prison. You had had a 30-year sentence, and you served 20 years of that 30 years. Almost. You were like a month or two shy.
15 days.
15 days shy, and I'm not laughing. It's just crazy. You served 20 years on a 30-year sentence, and yesterday marked 1 year, man. So, how do you feel, man? Tell us about what was going through your mind. We had a couple conversations, you know what I mean, that were some hugging it out bros conversations, the past couple of days. But, tell me what was going through your mind yesterday and the day before yesterday and the other day that, why this was coming up.
Well, I think it's been effortless in a way. It's been real easy. And then when somebody brings it up, and then it really made me like break it down and think about it. It's huge. I mean, the year didn't go by fast or slow. It just kind of just like went by, and then I have to literally stop and remind myself that I'm just got here, and because it's, like I said, effortlessly. So, but going through my mind yesterday, I was just super like sentimental about everything, like the small stuff, and then like just everything that I have now that I didn't have as far as relationships and people in my life, man. It's just such a blessing, I can't really say what it was like. It was just like one of them things I just had to, and I'm injured. I just hurt my back. So like I'm literally was made to sit still and just really take it in yesterday.
Wow. That's I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no distractions but your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy ride, man. You know what I mean? We've went through a lot of ups and downs.
We've seen some stuff.
Hell yeah. Especially in the past 20 years, man. You know what I mean? And I've watched you grow and essentially, what people, I think what a lot of people don't realize when they talk to you or they hear me say about it, but it's like, you never even took a picture on a cell phone.
Nope.
before you went in. You know what I mean? Like online gaming was just starting to kind of seep through. You know, social media wasn't a thing really. You know what I mean?
You still had to hit the button 3 times to get the letter that you wanted.
Yeah. During texting. Yep. And you know, you went in as a 23-year-old man. You know, first of all, you know, I mean, it's public record, but you know, you ended up having a crazy eventful New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
That year.
Yeah.
What was it? 2023 or 22?
It was turning 24. 204. My bad.
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, man, that was kind of the lifestyle that we were living at that point. And I want to preface this right away. This by no means is us advocating, glorifying, glamorizing the street life. You know what I mean? This is not us trying to say, yo, it's so cool, you can get in and make it out. We are well, first of all, this man did 20 years of his life he's never going to be able to get back. You know what I mean? That he learned his lessons and grew up in, you know, in prison. And gosh, you've not shared many stories with me, but some of the stories, man, are just like heartbreaking or heart-wrenching of what you've seen on a daily basis. You know, so we're not, so he did not win from that life at all. I did not win from that life at all. And you know what I mean? You know, the unfortunate thing about it is, you know, that night, you know what I mean? We were partying and, you know, we had,
way too much to drink.
Had way too much drink, drugs. You know what I mean? The whole cocktail of the emotions. We were living a crazy life where we thought that
untouchable.
We thought that gangster life was what everybody lived by, and you know, at the end of the day, you know, you got charged with, you know, attempted murder.
Yeah.
You know, because you know you came back to a party and you ultimately
6 counts of attempted murder.
Yeah. Yeah, and you open, you know, ultimately you wanted to scare some people, you know, with some guns, and ultimately it really looked very bad, and it was awful. It was awful. And listen to me, if my kid was there, I'm telling you, man, I've told you before, if my kid was there, you're lucky you went to jail, right? What can you say about that night? Now that, you know, what can you say in regards to the decision you made and what happened that night, and you know, now that you're out, now that, you know, the dust is settled, like, what would you say to some of the people that were there?
The people who were there, man, I felt bad the very next day.
Yeah.
Because though it was so much anger and we were so mad, it still was not nowhere near what I did was worth what I put them people through that night. You know, because there were some words exchanged and threats, but nobody did what I did. You know, so I didn't have to take it there. That's just why I say, like, without just the over drinking and like just pushing it too far, you know. But I would definitely apologize. I've actually seen some people. I seen one of the girls. She came, women, and she signed her young son up, and I didn't even know it was her until she was sitting in front of me. And then when she gave me her name for the emergency contact, I just looked up and just smiled. But I still didn't even know really what to say, you know, because it's pretty bad. You know, it could have been it could have been way worse.
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, for sure, I would apologize because not everybody there was a quote unquote enemy, you know, and there were just people in the wrong place and they could have really got hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy night, man. And you know, it's like one of them times when you wake up, you know, you fucked up.
Oh, I woke up the next morning and was immediately crying. And the friend that I was with was asking me, what's going on? When she knew, and I was like, Madison, I can't believe I did that to Madison, which is my daughter.
Yeah.
And she said, "What do you mean? Your daughter was at the house that you shot up?" I said, "She might as well have been. I'm never going to see her again. I know, because I thought I killed somebody at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I thought somebody had died. So I just was accepting the fact that I probably was not going to know my daughter. And God, you know, blessed that I didn't. You know, I didn't even hurt anybody. But it's not about that. You know, it's about what could have happened. I get it. But that's what my initial next day was just, I kept thinking about, I couldn't believe I did that to her. That was like the only thing I could think about, because I couldn't figure out why I was so far gone to not think about her before I did it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, we left the party. That was the one time I almost fought you.
Yeah, I know.
As a serious.
Well, I didn't know, but you had to tell me. Yeah. I was so far gone.
Well, I want our listeners to hear it, because you were driving, and you were driving so recklessly and would not pull over. That I had to say, hey, this is what we're about to do now if you don't pull this car over. And Actually, I wish I did fight you that night, to be honest with you, and I wish it did go that route. And you know, we got back to the house, and you know, it was just chaos from there. And I actually got out of the car when we were on our way.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy, and I'm not proud of this at all, but what's crazy is I was on bail for a shooting at the moment that I had my name involved in, and it was just, you know, I just can't fucking believe the life that we were living and how normal we thought that was.
Right.
You know, like I talk about a lot of good things and you know, like here's with me, right? Most people know my story and know my history, right? But I don't ever talk about it.
Right.
One, I spent 10 years trying to get away from that. I spent 10 years trying to get away from this drug dealing person. And for me, for you, life stopped at 24, 23,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Because that's when you started your new journey and your incarceration. You know, for me, it was always the ups and downs and more stuff and more disappointment and more shit. So like my best friend, my childhood best friend's gone. We just lost another childhood best friend who passed away, you know, a year earlier.
Yeah.
You know, gosh, that was a tough time, and it just kept getting tough. And I remember in like 2012 or 2011, 2010, like I had like 4 people die in 1 year. You know what I mean? And I'm still answering your phone calls and talking to you and hearing, you know, my brother not himself because he's just going through it, man. And you know, so for me, it was always like another wave, another adventure of fucking dumb shit and crazy shit that I just had to go through. For you, you know, life stopped. And so I've spent the last 10 years just trying to build a brand post my drug dealing days, right? I don't even talk about the gangster shit.
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what I mean?
Proud of it
I don't even talk about, well, what I'm saying is I'm not proud of it. What I'm saying is I don't even bring it up because like, I don't want anybody to know that shit, man. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to make that, I don't want to be the success story. Like, hey, yo, I made it out. You can too. No, motherfucker, don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it. That's why I started the gym. That's why I did all this, because I want to give you an opportunity not to fucking go that way, man. What was it like, man? Like, I mean, you don't have to get too detailed as far as the shit you've seen, but how, I guess the biggest question is, how the fuck can somebody go through 20 years of prison and not come home strung out on drugs, not come home ready to do more gangster shit, not come home and ready to go back? Because that's usually the 3 things that we see most people that come home, they do, and you are thriving, my friend, in this year. So before we get into that, like, how did you do it and not be so institutionalized and so far gone?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's really not one hack to it.
I don't think there's a hack at all.
No, it's a mind frame and the person who you are. There's a saying, if you do something in there, you were doing it before you came in. Okay. So you kind of just have to fall back at it who you are, because you can no longer be that self that you were on the streets. You have to just, I call it walking between the raindrops, right? Blending in, because I never affiliated. I never joined. That means a gang. You know, I never joined no gangs. I didn't become a Muslim. You know, I stayed with my religion. You know, people run to all certain things for protection in there. You know, and I just found staying to myself.
Now, you're not saying anything about the Muslim religion. You're just saying that was something that was a
safe
trend.
haven. That's a safe haven in prison.
Kind of like where people find God in prison and forget about him and lose him when they're out.
Don't get me wrong. My best cell buddies I ever had were Muslims.
Yeah.
They're the most cleanest cell buddies I ever had. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying a lot of people will go to that because that literally is the biggest group of people in prison.
Gotcha. Right? And then that's why they join gangs too, right?
Exactly,
so, gotcha. Understood.
To be able to take showers and stuff, you know? But, yeah, it was one of them things where I just kind of had to let go of me, and it took me a few years to figure it out. I was on the phone one day, and my boy Saquon Branch, shout out to my man. He came up to me, he was like, you gotta let go. That phone thing you're doing right now, that's not gonna work. You're driving yourself crazy. This girlfriend thing you're doing, you think that you got 30 years, my guy. You need to fall back. And it really didn't hit me. And when I started reading my journal entries and stuff like that, I realized I had to become something that not necessarily I was uncomfortable being, but it had all the time. I had to have that tight face, that tight, you know what I mean? And was it perfect during a bit? No, but I mean,
you survived.
I walked that thing down, man.
Yeah,
I walked that thing down, and even I had so many good days that I earned, and if I didn't earn them, I'd still be in there. Wow. You know, I'm on paperwork to 2034. That's what they were trying to make me stay to. So, you know, if it was one of them things where I had to figure out, everything that makes me a man with like my pride, like somebody saying something, all them things you got to let go if you want to go home. Because every time you react to something, that's a little bit longer. You're not earning anything to go home. You're doing day for day.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize when it comes to incarceration in prison, everybody knows everything about everybody in there. Like it's not like you can kind of keep anything. Everybody, that's all y'all have. That's all inmates have is all they. I don't mean to say y'all. Excuse me. That's all they have is all inmates have in prison is the things they have on their body and their person. Yeah, that's the only dignity that they have. And again, this is not saying that you weren't. You didn't have repercussions for your actions and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say prison is, for me, I don't think prison should be easy, right?
Absolutely not.
I do think that there are some things that, are fucked up, the way that the institution system, excuse me, is private money, privately funded. I think that's a little weird. But that's a day for another podcast. I just, in there, you have only what you have. Yeah. And people know everybody's business. So you never went in there and affiliated with a gang. Nope. I know that, racism is, if there, you hear people talk about racism all the time. If there's ever a place where there's more racism, it's in prison. Yeah. And I know like a lot of white guys will run to, some of the white groups and the white gangs. You never did any of that, right? What helped you? And I know, and I know that you had some dark moments and some dark periods of your thing. But overall, what helped you get through it to not give up, to not just, so many guys go in there and get addictions. So many guys in there, like you said, they sell out, man. What did it for you to be able to not do that?
Well, I guess first thing I'll say, you asked that question because I lost a friend yesterday in prison. Ross Warmwicky. It was I call him Ross. So, I got his girl here. She does the conditioning classes, and he killed himself yesterday in the cell. Gosh. And it sucks because he should have been home when I went home. Jesus. And he ran his time up. He kept getting in trouble, and he added 20 years to his incarceration. He was at North Branch, and he dropped his flag because he was with the racist side of one of the white gangs, and because he was so mixed up, and he took his life because he felt like he was never getting out because of things that he chose to do to run his bit up even more, which sucks. But you got to own it, right? Yeah. And my reason being able to do what I did is my why, if that's not corny or anything, but it's like redemption. I was not going to let that place define me. I was not. And that's why I try so hard. I work so hard, and stick to what I know, or stick to my guns with certain things. I don't like to cross certain lines because I can't do it anymore. I don't have nothing left for that place. So yeah, it was my why, man. My why is just like to give back and show that, you can do a bunch of times and not a time. And I don't recommend it, but you don't have to come out an asshole. You don't got to come out blaming the world, know? And then just like, the foundation here, has helped me big time as well. Obviously, coaches and people around here, like as far as like just trying to like figured it out, because I didn't know anything, obviously. I didn't even want to pick my head up my first day in here. You remember that? Yeah. So, but yeah, it's the redemption of just showing, look at me with Madison, look at me with Lindsay, look full circle with Kenny, and Amber, like all these things that probably shouldn't have worked out because I should have came home bitter. And like, you were there, you saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. For those listening, Lindsay and Kenny are his daughter's parents. And, I'm going to say this just to say it, shout out to Kenny, man.
Absolutely.
He's always, I don't know him very well. I just know him through you and through that. And we speak here at the gym, but man, he's, having children that I didn't biologically make, you know what I mean? And loving them to the end of time and from the beginning, you know what I mean? So many men use their ego to play a part in that. Yeah. And, I never saw, or you never saw a time when he did. He was always pro, you know what I mean? I don't think he agreed. And of course, there's probably some trying times, especially when, you guys weren't seeing eye to eye and all the things you guys were going. And we're not going to get into your personal stuff or their personal stuff.
Right.
But there's
no book on it either. There's no written, you know what I mean? We were figuring it out.
There's no written house.
No, there's no written house. We had to figure it out all together, man.
Well, but he's always been, in a way, Team O.
Yeah, he's a
You know what I
standard-
mean?
he's a
Like
standard dude.
that's incredible for a man to do that, and especially him raising Madison from such an early 2-3 years old. Shout out to him, and then Amber's your girlfriend, and yeah, man, like dude, you're fucking, I mean, full transparency, dude. Like, I offered employment here for you at the gym just for, hey man, get on your feet. Like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I really couldn't afford it. It didn't make sense, but I you're my brother, and I offered a promise, and you needed a homeboy hookup, and we just did that. And I mean, I remember telling you, like, dude, listen, I ain't got no expectations of you for about 6 months, dog.
Yeah.
Like, just figure it out, right? Just fucking figure life out, dude. Fuck the gym. Just, do a couple duties around here, learn this, learn that. But ultimately, man, you just need to you need to acclimate just into life and
I appreciate
figure
that
that out. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that for that reason. Thank you, but that's not what I'm saying. But then quickly, brother, like you just fucking, you talk about redemption. I mean, dude, whatever your why is and whatever you're trying to redeem yourself for, you're doing it. Like, and this isn't me telling you, I mean, we've had some tough conversations, you know what I mean? This isn't me telling you this from a space like, you're on the podcast, but dude, like on paper, you're not supposed to be on this episode today.
No doubt.
Right? I'm not having you on the episode today because you're my best friend and I love you, or because you work with me or any of that. You're on this fucking episode, dude, because you are the example for anybody that's going through anything, not just incarceration, that if you choose the route that you want to take, you can thrive and have whatever you want. You've literally, you definitely needed the time and still need some time, that to acclimate and get used to things. But dude, you literally went from, I said a beat dog, you know what I mean? Because if you watch that video that you posted yesterday of you coming out of prison,
it's a perfect analogy.
When I picked you up, like you didn't even look like a man then. You looked so just broken. And that should have been one of the happiest days of your life, which I know it was. But at the same time, we had this conversation. You didn't know what to expect. But dude, like, your weight's up. You're healthy. You might be injured right now, but you're healthy. You know what I mean? You've got a vehicle. You've got your license. You've got a girlfriend. You've got 2 careers. You know what I mean? You work here and you work downstairs. You're thriving in that aspect. You've traveled. You've done. You have a great relationship with your, with your PO. You've built a relationship with your daughter, her family. Everyone loves you. Like, bro. Whoa, like on paper, you're not supposed to be here. Right? Like, seriously. So, and I'm not having just anybody on my fucking podcast because I'm building a brand and this is about me. I wanted you on here because I thought it was such a great way to exemplify what happens when you come in here and do the work, and when you're, like you said, living proof. Like, so what is it that you were able? Okay, great. SBY has been a great support system for you, and we've had, and you got the homeboy hookup to get your foot in the door, right? But after that, it was all on you. So if you were talking to somebody about to come home, and I know you have from a long stint, what would you tell them to do to be able to get on track like you are right now?
FYE, man, first, like, for real. I mean, you can't make excuses.
Yeah,
you got to do it. You got to do it. That's why you heard me the other day. I don't say I'm trying anymore. I am, and that's a mindset. I mean, core values help me with that as well. I mean, like you said, you can steal core values from anywhere, but to have some and actually live by them, it's truly helped me. And then just wanting, like that feeling to live, it's what it's for me.
What would you say about the group of people to surround yourself by? Because I know you've mentioned multiple times how beneficial the coaches and the staff here at SBY has been. How important is that to get you to be successful?
Well, it's super important. I mean, one, these people, there's always people backbite, period. Yeah. But it's such a group of supporting people, these coaches around here, man. Like, I love the coaches around here. I can't talk about them enough, Obviously, I sell memberships. But they're like, that's the easiest part, talking about the coaches, because, and then just them having your back and not feeling like a stranger, like feeling welcomed. I came in, I think you had a quarterly meeting, like when I came home, like not long after. I didn't know anybody in the room, and you had me sitting up there writing on the whiteboard and like tell me what I don't know what at this point, what goals does somebody have that just came home? You know what I mean? I want to stay out. I don't want to stay out. So it's just like but that foundation of this in here, and I know people might be rolling their eyes, or of course he's gonna say that, but it's real. You know what I mean? Like when you come to the gym, like good things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm living proof of that. You know, every day it's something. And I told you, I'm so happy. I've never been this happy in my life. And I'm not taking anything away from the birth of my child because I wasn't there. And I'm sure I was really happy, you know, but like I shouldn't be happy. Like you said, the paper thing, I shouldn't be happy. Most people come home and blame and talk about what they don't have, man. Like, I got $100 in my checking right now, man. I'm not broke, if you know what I mean. Like I'm super happy, you know. Like I got more than I've ever have. You know, I got love coming from every direction. That's why I had to adopt a cat. That's why I adopted Penelope. Shout out to Penelope.
But him and this fucking cat, man. Gosh,
that cat, man, gave me a source of like to put some love into something besides a person. Like I had this love to share.
Yeah,
you know. And it's like I'm not a cat person, but I'm definitely a cat person. You know, who knew? And yeah, no.
Yeah, I didn't want this. You know, I like you said. This was not a shameless plug at all about SBY or anything like that. I do want to highlight though.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, when I started SBY, I never thought it was going to turn into this. I didn't think it was going to turn. I knew what I wanted it to do. We wanted to train fighters. We wanted to kind of help people realize they're not old. Mm-hmm. See, on the Eastern Shore, it's funny. Here in Salisbury of Maryland, we're like a college town for those that don't know, right? We have SU, Salisbury University, and we have Warwick. That's a pretty good community college. About 45 minutes north, you have Deltech, because we're right on the Delaware line. Then you have UMES, which is University of Maryland Eastern Shore. So we're like a college area, right? And then we're also a touristy beach area because 40 minutes east we have Ocean City. We're separated by the Chesapeake Bay of the other side of Maryland. So what happens is that kind of vibe. And the other thing about the Eastern Shore is until the huge boom of the internet and now we get everything online and influence so many different places, we've been kind of isolated from the world because the Eastern Shore is actually 3/4 surrounded by water. It's actually completely because they dug a canal up north Delaware from Maryland to Delaware. But technically we're a peninsula and, we're 3/4 surrounded by water. So we've never had the influence of millions of people coming through our area like the heavy metropolitans like Annapolis and Baltimore and DC and Philly and Virginia Beach. It's like all 2 hours away from us, right? We've had this kind of like slower type of atmosphere, not people, but just we move slower. We're more beach people, more country people.
Slower, lower, right?
Yeah, right. So where I'm getting at is for us, you know what I mean? You kind of get old really quick, quote unquote. In other words, if you're not in college and you're like pushing like 30, you kind of get written off like you're old. And that's by far not dude, right now, if you're 40 years old and you feel old, it ain't because you're old. It's because of your life choices. Yeah. Because I don't feel old.
At all.
You're over here with a messed up bag. You don't feel old, right? You look great, feel great. You can see the whiskers and the gray, but that's just season. That's not age, right?
Mark Rittenhouse's boy.
Yeah, that's right. So for us, our area kind of makes you feel old. So that was one of the parts, and I do a really good job at the weave. I do a good job at the weave. You know what I mean? It's a really good thing. But anyway, that's like why I started SBY was because I remember feeling old at 30 and then starting combat sports and like, holy shit, I'm not old. I'm just fucking falling a victim to partying and bullshitting in my area and thinking that's right, right? I never thought SBY was going to turn into what it's turned into. I knew we were going to do the fighting stuff and I knew all that, but dude, the culture and the people.
It's the people, man.
And I knew this. I had already known I already knew it turned into that, but I knew that if you came home and we put you in our culture, right, and you bought in, I knew you would thrive.
Yeah.
Right? You had to do the work.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, he mentioned our first core value, fuck your excuses, FYE. The second core value of SBY is lead by serving. The third one is do the work. The fourth one is team before me. And the fifth one is earn the right to win for your family. And when you heard those, dude, like you got so excited because it was like a light bulb that went off in your head. And you changed everything you were doing up until that point. I think it was like 2 months, 1 or 2 months in, you really, it just clicked. But I knew that if you bought into our culture, that you would thrive as someone with 20 years of prison. You know what I mean? Like, that is not the easiest thing to overcome.
No.
And I don't know if you know that, right?
Well, I have to remind myself sometimes because, like I said, it comes effortlessly. I don't not know why it don't affect me more than it does.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, sure, if you kick a chair or something behind me, I'm probably gonna turn around pretty fast.
Sure.
But like to see how, and I have other friends that did less time than me that have their own struggles too, and we don't have the same struggles. You know, shout out to Harpool,
Yeah.
and you know, but at the same time, it's just one of them things, man. Like where it's just me. You know, my dad gave me a great work ethic, and I don't think I ever had a chance really to use it because inside, if you knew me inside, I never went to work. I tried to get paid for not working as much as I could for that place, and it's just start day one. It was like I'm out here. It's time to win. You know, and you're not gonna win if you're sitting there waiting. You know, like they took my SNAP benefits. I don't even care. You know what I mean? I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm not even a year home, you know? So it's like, they try to make you, not people, them, whatever you want to call them, try to make you fail, but it's up to you. You know, you got to put the work in and then you just figure it out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think like everybody all the time says they in the government and them, and I'm a victim of creating fictitious enemies sometimes to keep me motivated. So I got the Michael Jordan syndrome, but it ain't them, it ain't they, it's you.
Yeah.
It's the choices that you make, the choices that we make, the decisions that we do or don't follow through with that end up actually being the they and them. It's not, it's you. Everything you have going in your life is basically something that you have something to do with, you know what I mean? And that you're supposed to respond to and react to make your life improve or go through different opportunities and different doors.
And here's the thing, like, who's to say, even if I've been, like, I consider, like you said, I'm thriving, you know, and I'm happy. Like I said earlier, I don't know if I touched on it already. I'm happy because of my work ethic, the things that I have to do, the people I get to talk to every day, and in my personal life. Like, so I don't know, man. It's one of them things where, like, I don't know. I'll come back to it. I'm kind of like,
I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you're trying to say is you may not be in necessarily the place that you want to be in as far as, you know, how much money you're making, you know, where you're living, what you're doing. There might be so many different things that you could add to on paper to make it more. But I think what I'm hearing from you saying is you have a purpose, and that purpose is fulfilling you and making you happier than any other thing. Yeah. And we had a good conversation the other night, and you know, it's the thing that, you know, you said to me, you were like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, I'm out here doing it for other, or I said this to you, and you elaborate like, yo, everything you're doing right now is for serving other people. Like, one of your things is you're just serving everybody. You're helping everybody. You're a force with everybody. You know what I mean? You know, you're always the one that has got everybody's back. And I think it's a really cool thing. And you said you were even like that inside there. You know, I think it's a cool thing because, you know, servitude is huge, man. You know what I mean? You help, not that we should ever do this for this reason, but we help 100 people, help 1,000 people. You might get 10 people, one person that'll help you, right? But that's not why you do it. You just do it because it's the laws of life. You serve more people than people serve you. And ultimately, it comes back to you in different ways and forms, maybe not monetary, maybe not a wide open, hey, I did this for that. It comes back to you in ways that help you grow as a human and develop as a person that can even serve and help even more people, right? Yeah. And I think 100%. That's so incredible about you is that's what you do is you're always willing to help and always willing to serve people. And I think that's paying off for you big time, dude. Yeah. I think that's why you're happy. I think that's why you're able to sit here and say, you know, I'm thriving, I feel good. You know, I mean, granted, you're about to see a fucking world of challenges in this next year. And from an entrepreneur and a business person, it don't get easier, brother. Already. It gets harder. Like, it gets harder. And there's going to be days you're going to forget those core values and have to run back to and remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right. I got to stick with it and I got to do the work, because every level has its own devils. And the more that you push through one level, the next time you're like, oh man, this is a whole world of problems. You know, I had a challenging year myself with people, places, and things. And ultimately, brother, like, those problems were very difficult, very hard, very painful, all these things. But I knew how to be prepared for them, because in the end, seeing, you know, you over here thriving and other people in the gym doing their thing and other people at the office doing their thing and all the people we help, makes it all worth it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes it like, dude, it's going to be okay.
And I will tell you this too. As far as like like not having to go to the prison. Like you said, you wish we would have got fighting that night or whatever, you know, but I'm to the point now in my life and in my journey where like I needed to go there.
Sure.
You know, do I say I needed to do 20? No, I was ready to come home in 10, you know, that at 15 when they almost let me out and they kept taking it back. You know, how can I not look like I was there for a reason? You know, I look at life like that. So I can't not look at it like that with that. And, you know, I don't think I would like the person if I didn't go. I don't think I would like me. I don't think I'd be the same genuine person because like that place took and humbled the hell out of me.
Sure.
It humbled the hell out of me. And I realized there's a lot more than my repercussions of my actions. Now I got to deal with repercussions of everybody else's actions. And, you know, so like, I don't regret it anymore. I regret like not being there for Maddie and stuff like that. Yeah. I regret missing all that time. Sure. But not there anymore because I am who I am right now.
Absolutely. Without getting too personal, maybe putting her business out there, tell me about that. Because listen, man, you know, you guys had some struggles, you know, when you were in there, and you know, ultimately, she had chose not to communicate with you, you know, for the last part of your bit, and you know what I mean, and that was her decision, and that was the decision she made best for herself, that she saw was fit for her. So you had that, and you had, you know what I mean, obviously the anxieties and the fears of coming home and of the unknown, right?
100%.
You guys have built quite a relationship. You're building quite a relationship right now. You know what I mean? And you guys are, you know, you're working on, you know, creating, you know, something that's been lost and going forward. What's that been like, man?
I don't even know if I got words for it, to be honest with you, because you know how much it means to me. So, it's been a learning curve. It took a lot of consistency. It took a lot of not giving up. It took a lot of hurt feelings. And at the time I'm crying about my feelings, but how could I not cry about hers? You know what I mean? She had to be raised without me, basically. You know, you don't know what you're missing when you don't know what you're missing. But then when I feel like it's pretty intense for her too right now, because she's getting to see this person that she had no idea I was this person. You know what I mean?
She's obviously, what, 23?
She should be 23 in February.
23 in February, yeah.
And like, it's been such an honor. Like, me and her we don't even go deep. We literally just scratch the surface with the surface talk, you know, and we go deep a few here and there, but like her grandparents and, you know, her people were my people at one time too, you know? And so yeah, just being in her presence, man, it's everything to me, you know, and now I got a chance to actually build on something. There's nothing like being in the room for a conversation versus being on the phone and somebody, you know what I mean? Like being in the room with the conversation is a big deal because you can represent yourself, you know, and that's just a blessing, man.
I want to go on record to say this, you know what I mean? You know, this gets brought up a lot in conversation, and you've lived this down, but I've been friends with you for a long fucking time, dude. And we both had our kid right around the same time, right?
Yeah.
Was it what? Was it a year apart or a month apart?
Maddie was born in 2002. So when I went in,
it was a year apart, but it was the same month.
Yep.
And man, dude, like I told you this before, like I had never seen the change in you like I did when you had her. Like, you know, I mean, dude, you were wild, right? I mean, we both were wild, but like, I was always like, yo, why are you so crazy, right? Like, just the way you were. And then when you had her, you know what I mean? You know, it shifted, man. Like your thought process shifted. You know, obviously, you know, we were. You know, I'm not excusing anything, and I don't want people to feel sorry. You know what I mean? When you're in the kind of lifestyle that we were living, you just don't know how far you're in, and how deep the egos and the pride and the foolishness that you buy into overwhelms the thought process of what's important.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But man, I'll tell you, for that, you know, 2 years, man. I mean, it was just, you were such an inspiring father, and you know, like,
appreciate it.
You were just changed. It was a different Owien that I had ever, you know. And again, you know, you were 20-some years old. We were children. It was a different Owien than I've ever, you know, experienced, man. You know what I mean? So I want to go on record by saying that. But now, you know, you got this 23-year-old man, little female Rittenhouse, you know what I mean? Version of you and version of all the people you loved and stuff like that, man. It's got to be pretty wild, man.
Man, just to have that opportunity, man. Like, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's like, and you know all the conversations. never thought it was going to happen. I thought maybe at most be cordial. You know what I mean? I didn't think we'd be taking car rides and stuff. Like I never saw that, you know. And people would try to tell me, but you weren't living my existence. You didn't know what I was hearing, what I was feeling. So of course I felt that way. But I never gave up though either.
Well, props to her and her family and the way she was raised and the way she was thinking, because that's a lot to sit here and you know, I mean, listen, man, no disrespect, but you know, nobody brags about their family member being incarcerated for
no doubt.
2 decades. You know what I mean?
Especially for what I did.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Nobody, especially being a father, nobody's going to be like, yes, look at me. You know what I mean? I want, you know what I mean? And you didn't have the opportunity to, you know how like some parenthoods, you know what I mean? Some fathers are in it for a little bit and they'll get their kids sold on them and then they'll leave and then they'll be back and get their kids sold. Like there was no up and downs. Like you were gone for her whole existence. You know what I mean? So man, mad props to her for being able to find strength and value into seeing, you know, to trying and to giving a relationship, because that's probably fucking scary for her too.
And I look at it too. I got to look at it the same way. Everything happens for a reason. Who's to say if she was there and she had to see the person that while I was in there like that, you know, I wasn't proud of myself half the time when I was in there because, you know, just being in there. Yeah. And so, I would have loved to have had some more of a relationship with her while I was in there. But at the same time,
it's probably the best.
I might have fouled it up. You know, she might not like the person she saw in there, and it might have been even harder for me, you know, and I really...
harder for both of you.
Yeah. And what I would steal from you right now, it was actually better, and I would have never seen it while I was in there, but it was better to have the clean slate with her and really just start off, I'm your dad. I know you ain't seen me since, you know, however long, whatever, you know, and I didn't care about that. Yeah. I saw Lindsay, the second day I was home, remember we came in here, I got the membership, you were giving me the tour. She walked up and asked if she could talk, and the first thing I told her was, I don't care about the past, you know, I'm not even in the future yet, let's just work on today, you know, it's a present, you know, and it worked. You know, and you know it worked. And then when I saw Kenny the next day, and I walked up and shook his hand and thanked him. You know, it's one of them things where I just, you know.
Well, what's important at the time, right? Is it important to relive shit that, you know, nobody was in there? Like you said, nobody had the blueprint to. You know, everybody made the best decision for themselves at the moment they needed to. Right. And, you know, for you, you know what I mean? You did what you had to do, and, you know, it's paying off, man. And, you know, it's something, something you need to be really proud of yourself about, in my opinion. You know, I think that it's tougher than just what most people think. So we're getting to the end. You know, I'm going to ask you this tough question, and I hope you got a pretty good answer for us. But if not, it is what it is.
I'll give it a shot.
What can we all expect from you? What's next? What are you looking forward to? What are you fighting for? What are you working hard for? What is Owien Rittenhouse bringing to the table in 2025?
That's a pretty broad question for me, man. Like, honestly, I'm just super pleased right now, honestly, the way that I'm finding my way in a world that I clearly did not think I was going to be able to, you know, especially with technology. I mean, you know how much that scared me. But
you grew up dyslexic, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and you've been figuring out.
I didn't even know how to read a computer screen. Like I would start down here and work my way up. Like,
I'm over here asking Owien how to do my own fucking system at the gym. You took that anyway. I don't want to cut you to your shine.
No. So I mean, it's that's one of my examples. Like I'm trying to, or not trying. I am getting better with everything as part of my craft and what I do here. You know, I love the gym. You know, and I love sales. So my broader goal is to be teaching our sales staff, you know, and be the director of that or whatever the title calls, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's easy to push something or talk about something when you believe in it. You know what I mean? And
you live it.
Yeah, you gave me the homeboy hookup. Yeah, you know, you did, you know, you gave me a promise, you know, we all kept our words to each other, but I'm earning it now, you know what I mean? So now it's like, it's way better than a homeboy hookup, you know what I mean? So it's on to the next one. I'm earning the next thing, you know. I want to take things off people's plate that are currently doing it, and I start doing it, and then maybe teach somebody to do it behind me, you know, like that's my goal, like and just watch this place grow, man. Yeah,
well, that's awesome, man. I love that. I think that's going to be exciting. I'm going to tell you, the homeboy hookup stopped after about 3 months.
I know.
You know what I mean? You've earned everything that you've gotten here and then some.
But as a convict to get in the door somewhere like this, you know what I mean? You know, like, I don't have a disability. You get a job quicker with a disability through industries, you know what I mean? Felons, I mean, I got 6 counts of second degree attempted murder, man. You know, that's pretty hard to get a job with that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's not even like it's a job homeboy hookup that I didn't like. Not only did I get the homeboy hookup, I got to do something. I get to hang out in a freaking gym every day. I get to work out. I get to take classes, you know, and then at the end of the day, then I get to meet people. I love meeting people. You know, I love meeting people. So
yeah, I mean, but hear me out. It's hard to get a job as a felon. It's harder to keep it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you have surpassed every expectation, and you keep thriving, you keep winning, you know, and man, I'm just so proud of you, man. You know, you take that for what it is. You should be proud of yourself, but I'm just so fucking proud and thankful of having you on my team, my life circle, not just my team at the gym and things like that, man. You know, it doesn't make sense.
No doubt.
And we talked about this. It doesn't make sense, right? And the fact that you make it make sense, and the fact that you're so bought in to our future and what we want to do and where we want to go. And I say ours because we are, you know, we might not actually be sitting on, I mean, it'd be nice if we were sitting on a rocking chair on a porch one day, but our future, meaning like the vision is big enough and the drive is big enough for everybody's goals and dreams to come true.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but man, I'm just so proud of you, man. And I'm so lucky to have you. And dude, you know, cheers to a 1 year, you know, do you ever see your experience of prison and then coming, you know, let's back it up. Your experiences, you know, you had a pretty humble beginning, and, you know, you didn't have the easiest life growing up. And then, you know, you made some choices and, you know, got yourself into a situation where you were incarcerated for 2 decades. And then now you're home. Do you ever see yourself maybe one day, you know, coaching, mentoring, speaking to groups of people that could be impacted by somebody with success that you're on your way to achieve?
Well, I gotta say yes to that because I like helping people. I don't know per se, am I going to pursue something like that? But it's something I can do because I can talk, you know, and I can start a conversation pretty easily with anybody, you know. So yeah, for sure. I really want to be able to take the negative that I went through in some way or some shape or form and pay it forward, you know, and give somebody strength from, you know, the weakness that I had to go through, you know what I mean? Because I had to dig deep a couple different times, you know.
Many.
I mean, not even the stuff in there, like when they dangled my freedom and then took it right back, you know what I mean? Just for, you know, so it was like I had to really dig deep, you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, I'm excited for your future, brother, because I see something way bigger, and I've told you this for years now. I see something way bigger.
People keep telling
me
that, man.
I'm just telling you, brother. Listen,
even Bill pulled me up and said that.
Listen, don't fucking run from it, and don't block it out, because everything that we think we're not, we generally are, and everything we resist kicking and screaming is generally the best thing for us.
Yeah,
and it's you know, who you want to believe in. I heard this from Ed Milet, and I believe it so much. God calls on the qualified to help. I think that's how he said it. In other words, your story and your beginning and your journey has what's qualified you to be able to, you know, step into the spaces that you're at, and you will be. And I'm just so excited for that, man, because I believe that you're destined for great things. I do, and this is not the homeboy talking. It partially is, but mostly I know people. You know, and I'm not an idiot, and I'm not a motherfucker that's just I'm gonna always believe in people as much as I can, but I'm not gonna be stupid. Some people got it, some people don't. Yeah. You got it, brother. You know, you got something special that the world is waiting for, and you've done things and been through stuff that has qualified you to do that. So, you know, cheers to this 1 year, man. Thank you so much today for coming on this podcast and sharing your story. You know what I mean? And just, you know, thank you for being you, man. It's been so rewarding to see, you know, you do what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I've told you before, it wouldn't matter if you were with me or not, but the fact that you are is just even fucking better, man. So hats off to you.
Man, it's nice doing it around people I care about too, as well. You know what I mean? Just, yeah.
Real quick, where can we find you? If we wanted to get in touch with you about getting a membership, if somebody had any questions about their story, wanted to share a story with you, or maybe ask an insight, you know, where can we find you at? What's some of your handles and your links?
I'm on Facebook for sure.
How do you spell your name so people know?
Owien.
Owien.
Silent. Silent.
Cool.
Facebook. on there. And
What's your Instagram handle?
same name.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just put the whole
Cool.
name on there.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
do the Instagram as much, but yeah, you can get me on there. And then obviously, you know, if you Google the gym, that's my number too. So give me a call.
Well, brother, thank you so much, man. I'm so, you know, happy you shared here, and you know, I'm so great that we have this first year together, man. It's been amazing.
It's been fun, man. Do it again sometime.
Guys, that'll do it for this episode of Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. Again, if you get value out of this episode, you know somebody that would, please drop us a like, a subscription, you know, some comments, share this. You know what I mean? We look forward to hearing back from you guys. But, dude, thanks again, man, for coming on. This has been a great episode, one of my favorites. What are you doing today to become a champion?